What's up guys, this is Void of Just Gaming and today I've got an updated guide on Zill with his beautiful Netherworld Blade skin, as you can see here. I've done a guide on Zill a couple of, I would even say years ago, and despite some changes I think it is time to review this champion. I really like him a lot in the jungle nowadays. I had some frustrating moments with him when he wasn't really getting to the damage output that you would like to have him. But since the game has changed drastically, I think he is one of the best junglers right now. And therefore we need to take a closer look on him. That said, what are you going to get with Zill? He's a super mobile champion because of his skill set that we're going to talk about in a couple of seconds. I'm going to show my build as well, and I've got some lovely gameplay for you where you can see all the strengths and the weaknesses that you are getting when you're playing Zill as a jungler on the battlefield. So that said, I think something that is really important to highlight is his passive. As I already said, there are some champions in the game where the passive management is key. For example, Tulin is one of the heroes who really relies on getting to know the passive, and if you can't pull it off, you will have a really difficult time to make this hero shine. And the same goes for Zill, and as they have been changing the way not his passive works, but all the other skills are interacting with his passive, he has become a little bit different to play. In my opinion, I didn't really had that kind of feeling that it changed a lot, but I think it's worth mentioning just because if you haven't played Zill in quite a while, you might just realize that something has changed, and to inform you about this, I think it's important to talk about it. So let's go through the skills really fast. I'm going to make it as quick as possible. So his passive is called Grinding Gust, and the most important thing what you can read in the first sentence is that he is going to place marks of the wind. So this is basically how his mechanics work. He is going to place markers on the enemies, and every single time you get the third mark, your skill number 2, the short teleportation skill, is going to be resetted immediately, and that's really important, as well as dealing additional damage. But the most important thing is that the marks of the wind are resetting the skill. So what you want to do is you want to fight around it. You have a little mark indicator, and I'm going to highlight this as soon as we've got the gameplay so that you know what I'm talking about and what this mark mechanic is all about. But you can actually see it. It's indicated with the hero. So what you want to do is you want to always go for the reset, and the reset is what makes this jungler so really mobile, because the reset of the second skill is going to get you some of the options that other heroes don't have, because you have basically a second dash within seconds, and this is what you need to keep in mind when you play this hero. Your first skill is, it's basically you are throwing your blades at an enemy, and you're going to inflict damage when it hits them for the first time, and then they come back like a boomerang, and when they hit something again, it deals additional damage. So basically what you want to do, you want to make sure that an enemy is hit by both of these activations, and you can do that by standing really close to them. So this is something where you can guarantee that the Wind Sever is going to hit them. Your second skill is called Swift as Wind. It's as I said, it's a really nice teleportation skill. It's basically, I think it's got about the same range as Flicker. So you're going to teleport into a designated location that's indicated by a mark. When you hit a hero, you get a little shield, which is actually quite nice. I didn't even realize that he has this, but you do get it. It's not about the damage, but it's about the repositioning that you get from it. So this is what makes him really mobile, and this is the skill that is going to help you to get into the backline and then unleash your ultimate. And your ultimate is a tornado. You are becoming this sort of tornado, and you are going to attack nearby enemies, and you're going to deal damage to them. And after that, the consecutive hits deal less damage. What's important to know about this, as you are going to attack them 5 times, it's divided amongst the heroes that you can get into the ultimate. So the more heroes you have, the less number of attacks that each of them gets. So you can either hit one enemy 5 times, or you can hit 5 enemies, for example, 1 time if your positioning is not that great. And the important thing is that it's going to deal less damage. What they changed about this, at first you're invincible. That's something which is important, so you can't be targeted by anything. You don't receive any damage when you are in the tornado mode. The most important thing is that you are not going to inflict marks of the wind anymore. That was different before they changed it, I think in the patch 34, which was released at the beginning of December last year. So this is something that you need to keep in mind if you want to play this champion really, really well. So next bracket would be talking about his equipment. Here's the item build, and as you can see, we're building on damage. We're not going for crazy utility. The only item that we have for that is Rare Blessing to get some life back, which is actually quite nice if you are entering a fight by using your second ability teleporting in, because with the ult you can actually get some health back. You should focus on getting some magic pen really early in the game. Therefore, the second item after the boots is the spoopy mask that you can build, for example, into the evil secrets, and the rest of the build is basically pure damage with the boots that are reducing crowd control resistance, which is actually quite important because you're going to fight close combat, and therefore you need some gear to make those pesky crowd controlling abilities last a little bit shorter. Okay, now I'm going with my mage damage build. As you can see, you're getting ability power, magic pen, lifesteal, and cooldown reduction. That's something that we do take quite likely because we want to hit with our spells even more often. It comes from Nomad 10 times, level 3 of course, 10 times Vampire, and 10 times Hexer. Don't be confused by the renaming. It's basically the same stats, but they changed the the term how you're calling them right now. And in the enchantment bracket, we're going with Curse of the Death, which stacks up quite nicely with our ult. So this is the best, I think the best enchantment that you can get in the Lockheim tree. And then we're building up Taste of Blood because we do get some sustainability through that. And we're going with Ghostly Claw in the second skill, that's the second bracket. And then we're going with Evanescence, which is actually quite nice because you are going to get an Arctic Orb, which makes you invincible for another 2 seconds, which helps quite a lot because sometimes your ult puts you into a position that's actually quite dangerous, and then you can hit that button after 5 minutes when you're in the game. And Gunslinger just pushes our stuff even further in the Enigma. League of Humans is now renamed into Enigma. So this is the build. If you like this kind of content, a thumbs up is always highly appreciated. And if you want to see more builds and stay updated, hit the subscription button, put in the notifications bell, and you will never miss any of my videos. So I would say let's go and start off with some lovely gameplay, shall we? Alright, so here we go, putting our item menu back into the right hand corner as I like to play my games, and I just put myself into the right corner. I was playing Elden Ring again, and therefore I was a little bit off Arena of Valor settings. So here we go, we've got a pretty decent matchup, I'd say. We've got Telenas with Arthur, Elaine, and Crixie. Not really a designated support here, but it's still something that you can work with. And what just hits the eye is the opposing team composition, and that's something that's going to determine the outcome of the game. And I'm sorry for that, the game is going to be quite kill intensive, especially on our side. But I just wanted to show this game because it was actually quite nice, as it was part of my ranking presentation in February, because the enemy has 3 AD carries and they've got Maganga in there, so the only tank who is going to play is Malok, and I think Laville is their jungler and he doesn't even have the jungle talent, so that's pretty unfortunate. But This video is there to showcase how good Zill is and in what situations you can pick Zill, and therefore this is something we are just going to take it. So this is it. So let's talk about the skills first. As you can see, we already have 2 marks of wind here. So this is the little, it looks a little bit like the yin and yang. And when the circle is completed, you will get the skill reset on your second skill, and that's basically what Zill is all about. So what you want to do is you want to jump into the enemy, hit your S1, and then follow up with your ult, make your second ability get back to cooldown, and then you can jump out of the fight. So you can kind of harass the enemy on the one hand, but you can also deal tremendous amounts of damage on the other hand if you play the combo right. So now we're trying to get Maganga here, but he has just kind of read our movement, and I don't know if he knew that we are going to be there, but Crixie has just pushed him away, so there is no gank potential. But ganking is actually really easy with Zill, because you have not only a really good measure to get into the fights with your second ability, but you also have your ultimate, which acts as some kind of gap closer. So here we go. This is it. This is the build. And I mean, that was complete overkill, so you're not going to learn that much from it. But I think you guys get the idea. It would have been even better to get our ability now, because that would just make more sense, and Leville would basically be dead. After following up with the combo, that would be another dead Leville here. So yes, I think Zill is a pretty good character right now in the meta, because it's all about getting into the backline against really dangerous opponents, such as, for example, Thorn. Thorn doesn't really have any great measure against highly mobile junglers. Telenas is someone that you want to get as close to as possible. She doesn't have any kind of mechanics to get out of this besides being in the mode of getting flicker out. So if you can manage to get close to her, she's basically dead the moment you hit her, and you guys are going to see it right now for yourself. We do get the cooldown again, and this should be it. Oh my goodness, no, I can't. So my cooldown was a little bit too long on our first skill, because otherwise I would have had a dead Telenas in my pocket, but unfortunately it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. You need to keep in mind that your marks of the wind are limited by some sort of cooldown. So again, here we got it. So if it takes too long for the stacks to arrive, you will have to start over new. But I think that's just something that is actually quite self-explaining. Of course, the markers are not going to stay there for hours, and you just need to kind of have an eye on them. But if you are just managing to get your combo, which is S1, S2, you will have the free reset without any problems. So now we go in here. Maganga is dead, and that's what I was talking about when I was explaining my build. We just hit the 5-minute mark, so it was unlocking our Frost Orb, and we had the perfect execution here. Jumped in, got Maganga, pressed the Frost Orb or Arctic Orb, and then afterwards we went back to safety, just because our skills were back from cooldown again, and we were able to get into the normal game mode after being hit by the tower once. So this is something that's actually quite easy to play. Could have jumped in here, but because of the division of your attacks, I wasn't really too sure about it, but now we can just secure the double kill without any problem. So the combo is not really that difficult to execute. You just need to pay attention to the enemy's health bar, and as soon as you are there, the main gank is basically movement, jump in and close the gap, and then you're going to hit them with your first ability, or you can either use your ultimate straight afterwards. It basically depends on the positioning from the enemy. So if there is an open window, just go for the ult immediately, and then you can use your first ability to secure the kill if they are trying to get away. And that might be even the combo which is more favorable. So there's a lot of bodies going on at the top screen. I think I'm going to die right now because there are just too many. Here we go, that's that telling us. This should be, yeah, this should be double kill dead. What's his name? Dead Laville. And now I need to get out because otherwise Maganga is going to kill me with his poison stacks. That's something that I can't avoid. But I was waiting for my ult and I'm going back in here, getting a kill on Malok and just kind of freeing up that tower for my team so that they can actually try to take it. I like to take the diadem here at first, but what you can also do is build the first step to rares. So it's Vlad's Impaler if it's still the same name. And you will get the life steal mechanic already from that item, and then you can build it up for rares blessing to get the shield. So that's another item route which is totally fine. You can totally build that. But otherwise, I went straight for the diadem to get even more damage out to the enemies. And I was talking to Malachi because I completely know that feeling. I had so many bad games in ranked mode because people were basically not able to put down a realistic team composition. And it just starts with that. It's just sometimes like 3 AD carries against Zill is just basically a pain in the ass to play against. It's just like from their perspective. From my perspective, that just means we've got 3 valid targets that we can approach with one single combo, and we might get double kills all over the place, as you have seen. It's just, and here we go. Ult. So this is the gank. This is the gank. This is how it works. I mean, we had enough people here getting into the fight with Maganga, so they might not have needed me, but I'm able to secure another kill. And a fat Zill is nothing that you want to play against, because the mobility combined with the overall damage is just huge. And the good thing is you don't only have one dash, you will always have the second dash so that you can get out of the fights after you executed your combo if there is still someone who is alive, and that's what makes him so dangerously. So here we go. I'm looking for objectives here. I mean, the game is actually looking pretty decent. I mean, my team is not doing the greatest job here, so the enemy still is in the game. Like 11 versus 8, yes, we do get 2 towers so far. They've got 1 tower in comparison, but it's still something that we need to carry home. It's not something that can be easily won, because if my team just sucks, and for example, look at that Elaine, what is he doing? What are my guys doing here? They are completely stuck in the enemy jungle, and if the enemy would really push for it, yeah, as they did here, Elaine is dead, and now we need to get back here to fuel our team. But next to that, if you are the jungler, of course, what you need to do is keep an eye on your jungle stacks and try to execute it. That was complete overkill, I know it, but as the cooldown is really short on what is it, like 20 seconds or something, you can use it like that. So this was the Laville dash, the Laville days coming from the ultimate. Luckily I was pretty close to him, so the effect didn't last that long. That's a shit situation. That's a situation where the Gilded Greaves do actually help to reduce the length or the duration of that thing. And now we've got Vlad's Impaler, Diadem is ready, and now we can start to get some lovely magic lifesteal. I thought about getting in here, and I just did what I had to do. Unfortunately, you're not getting Marks of the Wind anymore from the ult, because otherwise that would have been an immediate reset. So that's something that has changed. I didn't realize it in the game, but sometimes it's actually quite good to just re-watch your games and find out what you could do better. I was a little bit greedy here, but as you can see, the score 8-2. Yeah, I've got every right in the world to be greedy right now, because we're just not doing as great as a team as we could, but I'm completely doing whatever I want to do. So I realized that my staff is not ready. I don't have the fully upgraded Magic Pierce, and I went for Staff of Noodle in this game. Just saw it more suited because I can build the whole thing with the gold, because no one is contesting my jungle at all. It's basically just free farm. Here's the reset. Now I can jump on, and the jumping is something that actually kind of shortens your whole run through the jungle as well. So because you're a little bit faster, you don't have to walk from one minion or jump one jungle creep to the other. So this is actually something that saves you some time, and in the long term you're going to profit from it as well. So this is an easy Darkslayer. No one is actually paying attention to the objective. So we've got 2 Abyssal Dragons right now, and we've got 1 Darkslayer. So we are really winning on the objective kind of side. 16 versus 14, so it's still actually quite even. But I think we did a better job on getting towers and getting objectives, and now we do have the Slayer shut down on the enemy. So I think the only one defending the base right now is... Okay, we've got Malok, and we've got 3 of them. So what I was trying to do was trying to get behind them. I don't even need my ultimate here. I saved it because I wanted to use it on Maganga later on. So the gank is totally fine with just jumping in with your S2 and then using your S1. Got hit here. The jump was a little bit out of position, but now we've got the first core tower, and they can't really do anything against it, because here it is, and we need to get away right now. Oh my goodness, this is not going to be successful. I think I'm going to die right now. Yeah, I completely misclicked here. I thought I would go over the wall, and that would have saved me, but now I do get killed by Malok. But I think that's totally fine, because that guy really had a hard time with that team. He was really trying for the good, and you can see his build is going to be quite tanky with the Fenris early on. Might have been the right choice, but here goes Arthur. Unfortunately, he doesn't have ult, as it seems. Yeah, ult has already been used. You can see that by that little indicator. In this case, the green one that's on top of the small icon beneath the map. That's going to show you if a hero has ultimate or not. So Arthur has already used it, because otherwise that level would have been dead. Still, in terms of deaths and kills, the scoring is actually quite even. We only have 3 kills more than the enemy, and I think the person who is really ahead right now is me. Going in here for... Look how much damage we do right now. It's insane. But yes, we are fed, and we can do I don't know what happened here. I think I got stuck at the tower. Arthur comes in to join the fight, so I don't really have any issues on trying to get away, and we will have ult pretty soonish. Jumping out here, so I'm not getting hit by Malok ult. And now it's just a question of time before I can get in and get a double kill here. Thinking about the triple kill right now, but I don't have the range. Yeah, I've got the rage, but I don't have the range. So I'm not going to do it, because Leville might just ult me, and then I'm standing there completely exposed, and that's not something that I wanted to risk. But as you can see, we're dealing significant damage to Malok here. That ult was again a little bit wasted. Here's another double kill, so the double kill scoring here with Zill is actually quite huge. It's tremendous. Another double kill, 14 kills, he's jumping, we're jumping out, and this is game. So in my perception, Zill is really great, because he's got everything that you need to have a successful jungler. You've got great gank potential, you've got an ult that makes you invincible for a short duration of time, and this is really something that helps you. Talking about team compositions, that's something that I should cover in the video as well, is you do like a composition where you can actually poke the enemy down, because if they are lower, that just means that you can secure the kills. A tanky matchup in terms of the opponents is actually something which is not that favorable. So what you want to have is poking heroes, and you want heroes who've got crowd control. So for example, Diochen in the middle is great, Natalia is great to get some damage on the battlefield, and that's basically the team composition that you want to have. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If so, leave a comment in the comment section below, and have a nice evening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and bye.